In this video, you are going to learn how to find the slope of a line. Now, slope is also known as the rate of change. It's your change in y over your change in x. It's also known as rise over run. You've learned a formula, or you've probably seen it. It's y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That's the formula to find slope. When we do the change in y and the rise, that's always the up or the down over the left or the right. We have a couple different types of slope. Slope can be positive, and you always read your graph from left to right. So it's positive because it's going upwards, like an upwards hill. This one is negative because it's going downwards from left to right. A 0 means there's no change. It's just straight horizontal because there's no rise to it. And an undefined line is an up and down line because there's no run, and you can never divide a number by 0. It's not allowed, so it's undefined. We are going to be able to find the slope of a line given a graph, given a table, just given the points. You're going to be able to do it all just based off the top of the sheet. So the first set is to find slope using a graph. Use pretty points. So pretty points are ones that cross these lines and sit exactly in the middle. You never want to just use a point that falls in between those lines or on top of those lines, because it's not going to be helpful when you're finding the slope. In our first example, they give us a few pretty points. They say 0, 5, 3, 3, 6, 1. We can use any two of those points. It doesn't matter what two, because it'll be the same no matter what 2 points you pick, and I'll show you why. So if I just pick these 2 points, you always want to draw a triangle. I went down 2 over 1, 2, 3. Up and down was 2. Left to right was 3. My rise, my run. Now if I wanted to pick these 2 points, I have to make the triangle. And if you notice, that's also 2 over 3. What if I wanted to use the 2 outermost points? I'd go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now those numbers are different, but let's look at this. 4 over 6 simplifies. You can divide both those numbers by 2 to get 2/3. You're also going to want to just look at your line. This here is a negative slope. So my slope is a negative 2/3. You also notice we went down 2 to figure out the slope, but I always just look at the direction the line is going to know it's negative. Alright, you can freeze the video, try B by yourself, and then I am going to do B with you. So you can press play when you're ready. Okay, so the first thing is to find 2 pretty points since they don't give them to you. And again, it doesn't matter what 2. I'm going to pick that one and I'm going to pick this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Rose 4. Ran 2. My up and down was 4. My left to right was 2. 4 over 2 simplifies to 2 over 1. We can leave it like that because you're going to see that it helps out later. If not, you just say 2. We notice our line is going upwards from left to right, so our slope is just a positive 2. Alright, so that's our first type to find slope, is when it's on a graph. Now we can find slope from a table. We have to remember from the top of our last sheet, it's always your change in y over your change in x. Now, our input is always our x, and our output is always our y. You're more than welcome to set up and use the formula, which we would do in number 3, but there's a quick, easy way to look at this. If we notice 1 to 3, we add 2. 3 to 6, we add 3. And 6 to 8, we add 2. Okay? 15 to 45, we add 30. 45 to 90, we add 45. And 90 to 120, we add 30. So if I look at my first two, remember this is my change in y, that's my change in x. My first two numbers go together. 30 change in y over change in x. 30 is divisible by 2, which gives me 15. Let's look at the next two. 45 over 3, we need to make sure the y goes on top. 45 is divisible by 3, which makes it 15. 32, 15. So our slope of this line is 15. Go ahead, pause the video, try the next one by yourself. I'm just going to work through it. Okay, add 1, add 1, add 2, add 1. So we notice that 3 over 1, 3 over 1, 3 over 1, so there's a really good chance that our slope is 3 over 1. We have this 6 over 2, so let's put that in to make sure 6 over 2 simplifies to be 3 over 1. So our slope here is 3. Alright, for the last ones, finding slope using points, I'm going to do it two ways. You can choose whichever way you want. We'll get the same answer. So remember from the first page we talked about the formula. Let's start with that one. We know this is our x1, this is our y1, x2, y2. Our first set of points, that's why there's a little 1 there. Our second set of points, that's why there's a little 2 there. Now, we create the formula. y2 was negative 2. So negative 2 minus my y1, which is 0, all over my x2, which was 3, my x1, which was negative 1. So minus a negative 1. Negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. 3 plus 1 is 4, which gives me a negative a half. So we know our slope is negative a half. I am also going to show you how to do it in the table we did up top. So, xy, put this point in first, put this point in second since my x is 3, my y is negative 2. Okay, now I just find the slope of those 2 points. I add 4. I subtract 2 to get from 0 to negative 2. Change in y over change in x is negative 2 over 4, which we know we just saw simplifies to a negative a half. Either method works. Alright, go ahead and pause the video. Try the last one by yourself. And I am just going to work through it both ways for you so you can pause and then come back. Okay, either method you use, you'll get the same slope. I prefer this one. It's a little easier to visualize, but either one works for you. All right, if you have any questions, stop by office hours.